Greetings everyone, and welcome to today's session of your gastrointestinal system course. I'm Dr. Sally, and today I'm going to be taking you through the anatomy of the pancreas. Okay, so as usual, just a quick summary of what we're going to go through today. We're going to look at the location of the pancreas. We're going to find out where it's located in the body. We're going to look at the different parts of the pancreas. We're just going to briefly touch on the internal structure of the pancreas, what it looks like under the microscope. Obviously, we're going to look at the important relations of the pancreas, and again, as always, we're going to look at the blood supply and venous return of the pancreas. So, let's just jump right into it. So, the pancreas is generally a mixed gland, meaning that it has both an endocrine and exocrine portion. So it has part of it that releases hormones and part of it that has an exocrine secretion that's mostly made of fluids and enzymes and so forth. Okay. It is a retroperitoneal gland, meaning that it has peritoneum covering its anterior surface only, but its posterior surface rests actually against the posterior abdominal wall. And it is found in the transpyloric plane. So if you guys remember the lines that are used to divide the abdomen into its different regions, one of the lines is actually found at the level of the pylorus of the stomach, and that's called the transpyloric plane. That's the level at which you find the pancreas. It's mostly located in the epigastrium, so that means that the majority of the pancreas is found in the epigastrium, and then part of it is located in the left hypochondrium, which is the part of the pancreas that's related to the spleen. Okay, so this is what the pancreas looks like in terms of its structure, and you can see that it's divided into a few different parts. So first of all, you've got this upper part here, okay, that's actually been removed from this picture, but it's generally just this region here, and that's called the head of the pancreas. Okay, extending from the lower border of the pancreas, we have another kind of sort of extension of the head. Okay, and then it just kind of passes to the side here. This is called the uncinate process. All right, and if you guys went through the development of the GIT, you should know where this comes from in terms of the whole rotation and fusion of the different embryological origins of the pancreas. Okay, from the head, you've got a horizontal expansion or extension over here, sorry, okay, and this this long part here, this is called the body of the pancreas. And then finally at the very end, you've got the tip of the pancreas that's actually found within the hilum of the spleen, and this is called the tail of the pancreas. So those are the different parts. Remember, you've got the head over here, the uncinate process extending from the lower part, the body extending horizontally, and then at the very end, you've got the tail. In terms of structure, the pancreas is lobulated, so meaning that if you look at the structure in the cadaver or so forth, and you're gonna find that it's actually divided into these small lobules, okay, and it is also covered by a thin capsule. Along the length of the pancreas, we've got the main pancreatic duct, which we saw in the picture here. So you can see this long duct here. Okay, this is the main pancreatic duct. And from our previous lecture, you should know that the main pancreatic duct opens into a very specific part. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You guys need to go check it out yourselves. Okay, and we've also got the accessory pancreatic duct. This is usually found in the lower part of the head. Sometimes it's not actually present, so it can be there and it may not be there. So depending on whether it's present or not, it also opens in a specific location. And again, I'm not going to tell you where, so you need to go find that out. But right here, okay, this is where the accessory pancreatic duct is, okay? So this is the main one, and this is the accessory pancreatic duct, okay? So this is just like a histological slide of the pancreas. So this is its internal structure, okay? And you can see here that there are two distinct regions, okay? One of them stains darker than the other, okay? and the majority of the region are the dark staining ones, so that's all of this around here. And then in between them, you've got these lighter staining areas, okay? So these dark regions here, these, sorry, my bad, okay, these are kind of like subdivisions. You can see that there are small subdivisions, okay, and these are called the acini of the pancreas, okay? And the acini are the exocrine portion of the pancreas, meaning that these are the ones that release the enzymes in their fluid medium. Okay, and then in between these light staining areas, these are called the islets of Langerhans. These are where the hormones are released from the pancreas, and these are this is like the endocrine portion of the pancreas. So histologically, the pancreas is made of secretory acini. These are usually just like groups of pyramidal cells that are packed together, and these are responsible for the exocrine function of the pancreas. And then in between the acini, you've got the islets of Langerhans. These are responsible for releasing the hormones of the pancreas. Okay, so we've already agreed that the pancreas is located mostly within the epigastrium, so that's this region here, and then part of it extends into the left hypochondrium, which comes in contact with the hilum of the spleen. So, and from previous lectures, you should know that the main or one of the organs that comes in very close contact with the pancreas is the duodenum. Okay, so remember the head of the pancreas was lodged in the C-shaped curve of the duodenum. Okay, and so you can kind of just from this picture guess what other organs are related to the pancreas. Okay, remember this was the celiac trunk. It gave off a main branch called the splenic artery. You can see the splenic artery kind of running along the pancreas here. Okay, the stomach has been removed, but it should be in this area, so that means that the stomach kind of sits in close relation to the pancreas as well. Okay, if the tail is related to the hilum of the spleen, that means it's also going to be related to the kidneys back here. Okay, and then you've got a couple of blood vessels here. Okay, specifically, you've got the, like I said, you've got the splenic artery up here. Okay, the portal vein, which again we're going to talk in detail about in a separate lecture, but the portal vein is actually found right behind the neck of the pancreas. And so just whenever you're studying relations of any organ, make sure you've got either an atlas or a picture of the organ open next to you. And like I said, you can kind of figure out from the pictures which organs are related to other places or other organs. Okay, so the pancreas is related to the stomach superiorly. On its lateral side, you find the duodenum. Like we said, the head of the pancreas is lodged within the C-shaped curve of the duodenum. The tail comes in contact with the hilum and therefore also comes in contact with the left kidney. The transverse colon, okay, so that's this one here, all right, crosses in front of the pancreas and slightly below it. So anteriorly and slightly inferiorly to the pancreas, you've got the transverse colon. And like I said, we've got the formation of the portal vein behind the neck, okay, which we'll talk about in more details soon. Okay, and if you guys remember from the lecture about the duodenum, I said in between the head of the duodenum, the head of the pancreas and the duodenum, so this in this curve here, okay, you had the inferior and superior pancreaticoduodenal arteries just kind of lodged in there and supplying both organs. Okay, so the blood supply of the pancreas comes from a few places. Okay, we separate the blood supply of the head by itself and then the neck, body, and tail by themselves because they get their blood supply from somewhere else. The head is generally supplied by the superior and inferior pancreaticoduodenal arteries, which we already mentioned previously. Remember that the superior pancreaticoduodenal artery is a branch of the gastroduodenal, which comes from the hepatic. Okay, and the superior mesenteric artery is a branch. The inferior pancreaticoduodenal artery is a branch of the superior mesenteric. Okay, so these two, remember, were lodged in the C-shaped curve between the head of the pancreas and the duodenum, and so they end up supplying the head of the pancreas. The neck, body, and tail are going to be supplied by the pancreatic branches of the splenic artery. And so if you just look at that real quickly here, okay, this was the celiac trunk, okay, giving off the left gastric, the hepatic, and the splenic arteries, okay. So you've got the splenic artery running along the length of the pancreas here. It's heading towards the hilum of the spleen, and then on its way, it gives off branches to the neck, it gives off branches to the body, it gives off branches to the tail. So these three parts are going to be supplied by the splenic artery right here, okay. And then you've got the hepatic giving off the gastroduodenal, and then the gastroduodenal is giving off the superior pancreaticoduodenal here. Okay, and then you've got the superior mesenteric giving off the inferior pancreaticoduodenal on this side. So you can see how they're supplying the head of the pancreas right there. All right, and that happened again. All right, so that's all I have for you in terms of the anatomy of the pancreas. I hope that session was useful. And as always, if you guys have any questions, you can contact me in my email, or you can reach me through your student coordinator. And I will see you guys next session.